Welcome back to the show. Now we're getting to the second half of this episode, and obviously, gotta get into this album, Jon Bellion's father figure. This is one I honestly I have been like a little out of touch with music. Sometimes I don't keep up with things, but he keeps me up to things like, yo, you got to listen to
I've been
this,
talking to you about it since March, bro.
yeah, and
Like,
I love Jon Bellion. I really do, and I like when I locked into this album, I was like, yo, this is
absolutely,
really good
yeah.
music, and
I'm
it
excited for this.
yeah, this is really good music, and again, like I fully I love his artistry. I love how he can rap. Because I'm a big rap fan. I love bars, and I love the fact he can
Absolutely.
also just make good songs. He's a good song constructor, and I think this album was like one of his most vulnerable ones, one of his most honest ones. You know what I mean? And he just like really
100%.
got to the heart. Like, what did you initially feel when you heard this album?
Well, first I want to say I'm excited to do music review with you because of all the times I've been on this podcast, this is the first time
Yeah, I just
it's
want to say
actually
this.
music.
Like he was like
I'm
always, we
so
always get the
excited.
first half of like sports, and they're like, "All right, see you, Micah." They
I'm
say, "We
so
got,"
excited.
so
I'm so
he's
excited.
fully in. He's fully in.
So yeah, I'm excited to jump into, as John would call it, a hyperbolic time chamber
Yeah,
of just
yeah.
digging into his music. I think it's such an opposite uh of what we have gotten from John before.
Mhm.
You especially you look at Glory Sound Prep, which is the last album that he put out in 2018, which
Man, I
Adult
love
Swim
that.
is still
I
one of my
love that
favorite songs
album.
of all time.
I'm
Uh,
sorry. I love
it's
that
so good.
album.
But you look at what even the change that he did from the human condition, from the separation, from the conversation with my wife, all those things, and he used to write 100% of his stuff, and then he got to Glory Sound Prep, and he says, "No, I'm gonna uh, do songs with Rock Marciano, and I'm gonna do all these different things and put a lot of people and collaborate on my songs, which really put a different vibe, but still kind of that bedroom pop feel that he loved to
Yes,
have, and
that's perfect. Yes,
it
that's
was
the perfect
more
way to put it.
it was more focused on the beat, not necessarily his voice. Now his voice, I love his voice,
Yeah, he's got
if
a great
it's
voice.
rapping or singing. But he's even talked about this in
He's
some of
got a
the
great
interviews that
rapping
he's
voice.
done.
He's got a
It's
great
kind of
rapping voice.
inversed. It's because of the hiatus that he had, due to his contract and his Live Nation issues that he had.
Mhm.
Um, he talked about him collaborating with other people and him doing demos, and on the Zach Singh show they played like the demo they did for Ghost and the demo that he did for Memories that he wrote. um, but he talked about how these actually opened up his voice more, and so what you're seeing actually in this album, while there's still some fire beats and some fire musicality
Yeah.
for sure, you're getting more vocal from John instead of just
Yeah,
his
he's
bedroom
singing more.
pop
Yeah.
reliant on the beat feel.
Yeah.
You're getting more of like, actually the song is reliant on his voice and reliant on the anger and on the aggressiveness and on the softness and vulnerability that he's feeling. So it's quite a different vibe, but I
There's a lot of
love it.
anger in his
I
voice.
absolutely love it.
That is one thing I want to say.
Absolutely.
I can tell a lot of there's a lot of anger in his voice, and I think he just kind of like just didn't add all the gimmicks. I mean I know
Hmm.
in music sometimes you do have to.
Sure.
I've recorded music, and I'm dropping a mixtape album next month, and I know how gimmicks go where you have to add things, but it's like I kind of like that for him where he's just being just like taking things off and just
Yeah,
being like gets into the roots.
he's noted that too. He's noted it that that it's not as gimmicky as before. He noticed that
Yeah, I like that he
there
said it.
is some change, but he's more he's not doing that as much. Because
What
he
interview? What's the like the big? What's the big interview he did? Is there one
So he
interview where
doesn't
he
do a
kind
lot. He did the first one he did was with George Janko. That wasn't mostly focused on the musicality of the music side. It was
of?
mostly focused obviously on Faith with George Janko, but also talking about getting out of reversing his contract, record label contract, so he can get his masters back.
Yeah, I see
With
the one
getting
he
out
did. Yeah, I also see
with
he did
buying
one with
out his
Zane
Live
Lowe.
Nation
Yeah,
deal.
he did one
Yeah,
with
Zane
Zane
Lowe,
Lowe.
he just
Yeah,
did that one. But the other one he did the Zach Singh show, which is really good. They dig into a lot of his different music. Him and that one and the Zane Lowe show really dig into a lot of musicality. But the one that I love the most was he did a second one. He did one I think 6 years ago with On And the Writer Is with Ross Golan,
mm,
another prolific writer in the industry, Ross Golan, phenomenal. But so they actually got into like the nitty gritty of what it means to be a songwriter in this space, and the um, how they have been mistreated in this industry of talking about the master
I
points and
hate
the
yeah
producers.
man.
It's
Industry is
crazy.
it's just crazy crazy.
Um, but we're getting a lot of anger because there's multiple facets that he's angry at. He's obviously angry at the record label and Live Nation for selling him pennies on the dime and telling him that he's blessed to get 3 points of a master points when there's 100 of them.
Ridiculous.
And you're fighting for those 3 points with other songwriters,
Or
producers,
other rappers, yeah.
and then you're mad at Live Nation, who's basically a monopoly, and they've had this whole lawsuit with on Congress and everything like that. He bought himself out of that, but
Mm,
really, the theme of the anger throughout this album, obviously, the album is father figure, so it's more intent on him being a father, right?
yeah.
So he's angry. He's angry at the world for lying to him on what is important. He he's he talked about this, I think, in the Zane Lowe interview, but I think also in the Zach Zane show interview, where the society keeps telling you to go up and up and up and up and get more and get more and get more, and he says, "You lied to me. You lied to me, and now my kids are gonna have to suffer." It was quite interesting. You talking about that they lied to me, and now my kids are suffering. So now I am angry at you. He said this culture is telling him to live the life the way you want to, but the kids are suffering because of it. You're supposed to give your life for your kids. The culture is lying to me, which causes the anger he's expressing through the album. That's what I
Mm,
wrote down for that. But like, he has been lied to about how to do the important stuff, and
yeah.
you hear it in Get It Right. You hear it in Rich and Broke. You hear it especially in Modern Times, where it's like all you want is all you want is stuff. All you want is stuff. But your kids see a foreign face.
Mm, mm.
I mean, he talked about a father figure, right? And where he has this big thing about you look so sick in your Ferrari. And then he gets his second verse. I'm like, oh, your coffin just looks just like a big Ferrari. I'm not telling you look rad in your Ferrari. I'm saying you look actually sick in it because
That's crazy, man.
you're leaving your kids out on the lawn to go to a party.
It's just it's insane, man. Like that's
It's
the thing.
incredible.
Like what I really like about John is just he's honest. I love like honest.
Absolutely.
I love
Always
like
been.
I just love honest like artists.
Absolutely.
And when I hear that, sometimes I listen to a lot of rapper, I mean a lot of just rappers, R&B artists, and I'll be like, man, I was like, I hear them nowadays, but it's like they don't sound like them anymore. They sound like a different version. Like they sound like
Sure.
lost. And why do you think he hasn't why do you think he stayed so authentic? Like to you, like what do you think it is about him from what you've observed over the years that keeps him so just grounded and authentic? Because he's like he's never been like what I consider fake. I always think I'm
Sure.
getting the real John.
Yeah, I think part of it is that he just has an unwillingness to compromise what he believes in.
I love that.
I even think throughout the 6 years, obviously he's gotten married in that time. He has three boys now in that time, so he's obviously matured a lot, right? But I think stepping away from the artist side of music and almost stepping away from music altogether, which would have been horrible for music.
He almost did that.
To you know, so he talked about this on George Janko's podcast, and he was saying around the time that Glory Sound Prep ended, which is around the time that he found out how his contract worked and how Live Nation worked.
Yeah.
Talking about basically getting pennies on the dollar. Like Live Nation will front you $1 million, but you're not getting alcohol proceeds, you're not getting merchandise proceeds, you're not getting concession proceeds, you're not getting all this stuff in the venue proceeds, and they make $4 million a night. But they're
Mm,
saying you're blessed to get $1 million up front, but you're getting most of the cut, and they can do a sale, a Jon Bellion sale on the day before that only costs $10, and they can do that. And so that's he talked about this. Went to his wife and he said, "I'm done. I'm done. I'll go work at McDonald's. Like I'm done." And he talks about it now. Just if any of us should credit him for this music, we have to credit his wife. He said because she is the one that is pushed. Like John, you can't stop music. Now, obviously, throughout the 6 year hiatus, he has written hit after hit after hit. He
mm,
produced Tori Kelly's
mm.
album. He wrote most of Justin Bieber's album.
And we gotta just say we gotta say this about this man. This man, the songwriter and producer he is, the brother is just talented.
Incredible.
The brother just talented.
Yeah, I think the reason why he's able to stay true to himself, though, I actually think that helps his evolution of music
Mm,
because you have the first 3 or 4 albums of him that they're quite similar of the bedroom pop feel.
All right.
And then you have Glorious Sound Prep come out. And in his first interview with Ross Golan 6 years ago, he had this talk about history scope. What the idea of like, I'm not trying to make music from now. I'm trying to make music for 10 years from now.
I love that.
And,
I
and
love
he
that.
he he
I love
brought up
that.
like Kanye's 808 and Heartbreak,
Yes, still lives on. Still lives on.
the Beatles Sergeant Pepper album. Like he brought up those things that at the time, because they changed the way that they were doing some things, that people said, "Oh, this album sucks. This album is bad. It's not going to do anything."
Because
And
in the moment, it doesn't sound good. In the
right,
because it's like it does. Nobody else is
but
playing
what are
anything
we
like it.
listening to Jon Bellion now? 7 years from now, we're listening to Glory Sound Prep.
It's a
We're
classic.
listening to Adult Swim. We're listening to Stupid Deep. We're listening to all those
Yes.
things. And he was so right. And I think that's one of the ways that he's been able to stay true to himself, because he has such a vision for music, and obviously his cementing in the music space of the producer and artist and writer that he is. As he calls himself a product guy, he's a product guy, and he just puts out great stuff all the time, everywhere, no matter the genre, no matter whatever. I mean, he has some like Enya type feels on this album. He's got some like
Yes.
he's got a acapella on his last track, right, with My Boy, but he's got like a really like symphonic orchestral coming in with horoscope, and then he's got a nasty beat with father figure. It just doesn't matter. It all works with him. It all works,
All
but
works,
the
man. It's brother's cooking.
messages are just like, I'm just going to talk about what I want to talk about. That's it.
Mm.
And it stayed true, and that's why he has this such a loving and voracious following.
Yeah, the following has never waned. I wanted to get to favorite tracks and kind of like standout moments because I mean, the first one that stands out to me is obviously Why with
Mm.
what was it? Was it Why with Luke
Luke,
Combs?
Luke Combs, yes
Luke
sir.
Combs, yeah. So why with Luke Combs? I thought that was just a very like a very real song. Italia
Mm-hmm.
Breeze, I love when he gets into that
Oh,
bag. I love when he gets into that
it's
bag.
so good,
It's
bro.
so good. And then Don't Shoot has grown on me a lot.
Yeah,
Wash,
so
I
good.
think is fire. I think Wash is so fire.
It was hard. It was hard to rank these songs because I
It's
feel like every
so
single one of them
hard.
is too low.
Yeah,
Like I'm
cause
looking at the one that I have at the bottom, like that sounds wrong because it's not bad. They're all good.
like I want to say this, listeners. Like this is when you're having to wrestle with what songs you're ranking. That's the epitome of a really good album.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yes,
when I Glory Prep Sound first came out, I was like, I can't stop listening to the whole thing. I wasn't sometimes like when I like a couple songs like, okay, this song, but I'm like, no,
sure. Can't
I
stop.
my top five changes. Like that's a certified
Yeah,
classic to me. That's the album is a
absolutely.
classic. So do you have are there any like ones that you're just like, yo, these are I know it's tough, but are there any ones that
Sure. I have a something. I mean, I could talk about all of them if we were
yeah.
out of time. But Italia Breeze has one of the hardest bars on the whole track. He says, Gary Payton has tried to stop me from crossing over, but my career has been a Jason Williams highlight reel. I was like, oh my goodness, dude. Oh my goodness. It was so nasty,
That's
bro. And
so
he just said it as like
nasty.
his calm
Oh
voice, and it's just
man.
it's so hard, dude. Um, I would say why was also really good. He talked about this. This was written 48 hours before his first son was born. Now, he
Mm,
was supposed to be born 4 weeks from then, but he was born early. But
wow.
it's this angst of like, this thing that I know I'm going to love comes into the world. What if it hurts? What if he hurts me? What if he gets hurt?
Yeah.
And
That's a real combo. That's a real combo.
the beauty of a song like this, um, is I love it when artists are asking real question and don't give an answer.
Yeah. You
Now, John
pick. Yeah,
says
you give
he
the
has
answer.
his own answers, but he wants to make you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, what if? Like, why? If I
Mhm.
know you're coming into the world, if I know this is happening, but I have the potential to lose you or get hurt, why do I fly so high? Because if I'm gonna fall that hard, like,
Mhm.
so he's really trying to make us grasp the it is okay to to get this idea of love and hold on to it and build with it despite the potential of getting hurt.
Mhm.
It's like, why do I fly so high? Why do I love if it can just hurt me? And it's so vulnerable, it's so raw. So I think why is such a good song, and that's the collaboration with Luke Combs. It's not something you would have ever expected from Jon Bellion putting a country artist on one of his songs, but it works so much. It's just incredible. Um,
But that's the thing about him. I like the fact that he's like, yo, I want to collaborate with that guy. I want to collaborate like
Absolutely.
do that. Like now obviously some collaborations don't make sense, but like that
Mhm.
yo, like he can get into that bag too. Like that's the thing about like about John. He's not
He
afraid to get
can.
into different bags. Like as an artist,
Mhm.
he's willing to go beyond boundaries.
What's really interesting with why, he talked about this where he sent this. This almost was not Jon Bellion's song.
Mhm.
He sent
Oh,
this. He sent this to four big artists, and he said this is the first time this has happened in his career where every single one of them said, "I tried to sing it, but I felt that it was yours, and I can't do it."
mm,
And they said, "I know it's going to be a hit. I can't sing it because it's yours."
yeah.
Incredible. And so we get this. I'm scared to meet you because then I might know you, and then once I know you, I might fall in love. And once I'm
Mhm.
in love, then my heart is wide open for you to walk in, drop a bomb, blow it up. Like it's just it's
He's gonna
cash.
laugh. He's gonna
It's
laugh. It's cash, man.
it's
John
cash.
is buckets. John Bellion is just. We gotta admit,
It's
John Bellion is
ridiculous.
just buckets. He's so
Yeah.
nasty, man.
So why was number three for me? And I
Okay.
did a bunch of jumblings. I have bunch of jumblings around. Yeah, I had father figure at four. The that homage to his father and the beautiful call out of like stop trying to get this big Ferrari. It's not what's worth it. I had don't shoot at five. I missed the drums on the JB record. The drums went hard and don't shoot, bro. And just this double entendre of it's not just his kids he's talking about, but it's also to his younger self. Like, don't shoot at my younger self. I went through the trauma. I went through this. Like protect him, protect
Real
him.
quick. I got a question. So all the singles that he dropped. So I'm looking at the singles he dropped. So he dropped
Kid again
Wa-
first,
Kid Again first,
and then
and was it Horoscope?
he dropped Wash second,
Wash second.
then
What did you
Horoscope.
think about all the singles he dropped? Like in terms of like the ones he. Do you think he got all the singles right? Like in terms of like the ones that he picked, drop as singles.
I think Kid Again, while it's not my, it's still amazing. It's not my in my top five on the album. I think it was perfect because what's the point of him writing Kid Again? The point of him writing Kid Again, and if you watch his music video, the start of the song before the music goes in, he has this tag that said, "I've been gone for 6 years." John is finally out of his record label and finally contract finally reversed it to where he owns his masters. Finally
Yeah.
got out of the Lion Nation contract, and it's just him saying like, "I'm free now.
Yes.
I'm free. I can be a kid again." And then you hear the song. It's like the kid singing, "What happened to your light?" That's his younger self singing back to him, like, "What happened to you? Where's your light gone?" And then he goes into this angry rap, right? He's going to angry rap of just saying, "Can't you say you took away your pride? Can't you say you took away your life? Can't you say you took away the vibe? What happened to you?"
Can we be just real about this guy? It's just
Mm,
I feel as though he's always wrestling with something. Like I always feel as though like there's an internal battle, and obviously we know why. But he's
sure.
like, you feel like, yo, I'm upset right now.
Yes.
It doesn't feel fake. It's like, yo, I'm when he's good,
He's
when he's
upset.
happy, he's happy. But when he's mad, it's like, yo, I'm like
When
mad,
he's yelling in
man.
this album, he's yelling this album. But when he's
It's
crying
like
in this album, he's crying this album.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to say this like because first of all, I'm gonna give my top five before I get to my last point.
Perfect. Perfect.
But I wanted to let's pull this up. So I got Wise as number one for me. Tyler Breeze number two. When he gets in that bag, it's
Mm,
different.
so good.
Um Rich and Broke, I thought was fire. Rich and
That's
Broke
my
at
number
three for
two.
me. Yeah,
That's my number two.
I got I got Father Figure at four and then Don't Shoot at five. So that'll be my top five for
We
this
got a lot of the top. I think we have all the same top five except one. I have Italia Breeze at seven just because I was
Yeah.
listening through the album and I'm like, get it right so good too because
Yeah,
it's a
man.
love letter to his wife and he calls it like an Italian Scorsese love story to
I
his
love
wife, which
that.
I
I
just
love
love. I
that.
just
It's so
love.
good. And
Um, yeah,
yeah, I did want to say though, I did want to say though, I would really love. I know this may not happen. I'm just hoping for it. I'm hoping for another collab. I hope him and Andy Mineo collab again. I would love him and Andy Mineo to collab again.
I would love a John Bellion and KB collab,
Yeah,
bro.
honestly, it doesn't even
KB
start.
years ago on his podcast Outside Rabbi talked about like how like that's where I really got reintroduced to John Bellion
Mhm.
years and years and years ago. Um because he talking like, oh, you know Jon Bellion. Okay, I would love a Jon Bellion KB collab for
Yeah.
sure. But Andy Mineo collab would be just as hard. I know he knows Lecrae. I know Jon Bellion knows Lecrae as well.
I
Um,
just think in terms of just like I see similarities with
sure,
Andy. I just see
I
certain
can see that.
like
They're both
vulnerability.
playful, but they
They're
talk about
very,
real
but
stuff.
they joke, but they're like, "Yo, I'm still real. Like I'm still hurting right now."
Absolutely. Yeah.
I still have like in terms of let's just say this. What's your album from John Bellion that you're like, yo, this is the one. This is the top one.
This
What's
is the
that?
one.
This
This
is
is
the
the
one.
one.
Oh, this whoa, this
So
is the
so
one.
I'll tell you what, and I'll give you the rest of my like my order of top five, and then I'll get into why that is. So five is Don't Shoot. I love the drums that come in.
Mhm.
Um, the start of a song gives like a Post Malone feel. Like it really sounds Post Maloney at the beginning, but it does give a that kind of vibe throughout the song. It's quite good. Um, it's just kind of like again, it's this cry of protection over his
Yeah.
sons and his younger self, which is beautiful. The father figure we talked about is number four for me. Why is three? Rich and Broke is two. I mean, that beat and the rhythm, and especially the way in which he talks, is just beautiful. But my number one is My Boy. Um,
Okay.
I This is the first time. Now I love a good heartfelt record, and
Yeah.
this is the first time that I've heard Jon Bellion cry in a song. And he's literally talking about the he has this line. He has this line that just kind of destroyed me. And it's he was talking about how he hates his weaknesses and different things. And before he goes into the closing chorus, he says, My son said a present father is worth way more than a perfect dad." And I just oh, it just hit. It was so beautiful because
Mhm.
he's writing this in a perspective to his father, but all I could see was my father. Like all I could see was my dad saying this to me. So he
Mhm.
writing in such a beautiful perspective. But he talks about how like I want him to stay young and small. Um and I soon because soon you'll see this the world is not this room that you're in. Soon you'll see the
Yeah.
room is not this room, and I can't keep it from the pain that you'll have to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
I can't hide you. I can't hide you from it.
and it's a
I've had
cappella. There's no
conversations.
instrumentals. There's no
Yeah.
instrumentals.
I've had
And it's
conversations like that with your parents. You know,
absolutely
they want to help you, but they're like, I can't hide you from the world. I can't hide you from it.
it's this realization of like I want to protect him, but I have to come to the knowledge that I can't protect him from anything. So am I preparing him for these things? So I have to get out because we see these types of parenting, right? This hover parenting of like you're protecting them far longer than you need to protect them. You haven't taught them anything. So let's teach them how to handle these things that the world is dirty in the world. That's nasty to bring in, and just the idea of it just being I mean the harmonies in the acapella is so full and beautiful. And it is the most vulnerable song that he has ever written. Hands down, period. And I love vulnerability in music.
Love that.
That's why I
I
love
love that.
NF.
All
It's
my favorite
yeah.
all of my favorite artists, they are vulnerable. They're
That's
honest.
why NF was my favorite. It's my been my favorite artist for like 8 9 years now
Yeah.
because he just leaves it all out there and he doesn't shy away. I love real and artistry. Um, so back to your question of why this is the best. Um, we see sides of him that we haven't seen before.
Mhm.
Like obviously, I talked about this is where we get the reliance on vocals instead of beat in most of the songs.
Yeah.
Um, and it is that history scope.
Mhm.
I think it's the same thing that happened with Glory Sound Prep. Glory Sound Prep came out and people ratted on it because it wasn't Jon Bellion. It
Yeah.
wasn't the human condition. It wasn't this Pixar thing that he really loved and the theatrical musicality and this bump and cute bop thing.
They wanted the
And they
old,
want
yeah.
the animation, right? Like he even talks about the animation of his album titles. You look at the human condition, and it's an animation of his face. You look at Glory Sound Prep, and this majestic view of what song the Glory Sound Prep album, and this one is just a picture of his father and mother.
Yeah.
It's talking about the real stuff now. That the stuff that would be akin to Stupid Deep and Adult Swim, talking
It's
about the
almost
real
like an
things.
album full of stupid deeps. It's all, you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
It's like almost
that's
like
it.
he's
That's
like, I
exactly it.
just wanted to take it here.
But really opening himself up, and I don't think we would have gotten this album if he did artistry for 6 years. We wouldn't have the
No,
beauty that this album
not
is
at all.
giving us if he didn't go through and grow as a father and grow as a husband and grow as a person in the time that he was working all this stuff out and dealing with. He still would have had some fire records. Don't
Oh
get me wrong.
yeah,
It would have been fire every
he's
single
still gonna drop
time.
like again like John Bellion's never gonna drop mid music. He's always gonna
Right.
drop fire. Like
I think a shout out to Pete Nappy and Ten Rock has to be had here for
has
their
to,
work on this album. My
yes, has to,
goodness,
killed it.
legendary people there. Lawrence, you have a Teddy Swims feature on this as well, and
Hmm.
he has the ability to convey things, but also go like so hard, and then
So hard.
it's hard for it is hard for of the songs. It's 14 tracks, but obviously you have that one voicemail. But it's hard for 11 of the 13 songs, and the last two is like, let me break it down to you, see what's really important here.
Yeah, this is what I really want to talk
And
about.
that's why Rich and Broke was so high up for me, um, because of what he talks about. Of like you all that money and you're broke, all that money because why you got the watch with the foreign face, but all your boys see is a foreign face. And he's talking about like the real like the presence things. And that song Richard Broke, when he's talking about I felt the earthquake in New York, he revealed that this was actually when he found out that his grandma died.
Mm.
And that was the earthquake. And so the earthquake shattered him, and he says, I've worked through all these things. I have this big chain around my neck that I worked for my whole life, but the first thought was my kids.
Man.
And it's that realization of like, what is real wealth? What is the real wealth in our world, and why has the world been telling me what actually is real wealth is poverty, and what is poverty is the wealth.
I'm telling
And
you, man,
so it's
the
this
riches,
anger yell.
the riches are so overrated, man.
Yeah, it's
I'm
the
not, I'm not
anger.
saying that. I'm not saying like yo, like, and I do want to have an honest conversation about money and wealth. Is that it's
Sure,
not bad to make
but the
money,
love of it,
but
right?
the
It's the
love
love
of
of
it, like we know that as Christians, like the love of it,
absolutely.
that's what takes you out because it's like you just come obsessed. Oh, I gotta make this. I gotta make this. I gotta make this. It's like
Yep.
you're just becoming obsessed with making money, and
Yeah.
you're never gonna have enough.
I think what's really endeared me to him, obviously, I'm gonna because he doesn't do a lot of interviews. I'm gonna watch everything that Jon Bellion is in.
Hmm.
The way that uh, I think initially, I know he had some fears about, and if anybody is on listening to this has been attached to his email list and been on the Beautiful Mind forum, you get to see a lot of the beautiful. Like he talked about every single one of these songs, and I just wrote it down. It's just so beautiful, of like what it means to him, but he was worried that this wouldn't gain traction because the culture and industry is not geared toward this type of talk, especially when it comes to fatherhood. And
Yeah.
the way that he talks about his family, bro, the way that he like instantly wells up with emotion when he just mentions his sons,
Hmm.
the admiration and love and the respect that he has for his wife, and that putting that as priority over the fame. I mean, he had a verse back in Glory Bound Prep. He has this line where he says, "Stop calling me underrated. I never wanted to be famous."
Mm.
So all these people are telling him, "Man, you don't know John, man. John is so good. He's so underrated." It's like this. I'm perfect here. I don't want to be
He's like, I don't
famous.
want that. I'm gonna tell you what. I don't like. Fame is very
Yeah,
scary.
but
It's
that's why
very
like
scary.
if you see how he's rolled out this album,
Hmm.
and really giving it to the fans to be his ambassadors. Like he is, if you're on the forum and email list, you got those singles a day or two before he released them.
I was just thinking about that. I love when artists do that because it's like when you're really loyal to your fan, they
Yep.
say, "Yo, like you're really rocking with me. You're gonna get the song a couple days before
Yep.
the world gets the song." I
He's
feel like
not
more
going
artists
through all
should.
these different avenues, and
Yeah, I feel like more artists
obviously,
should do that. Just like give your
obviously
fan
he's
base.
yeah he's self-funding this whole project under his label, so he's learning the label side now.
Oh, he's
You
self
know,
funding it.
self-funding because I mean it's under his
Oh,
own label, his
oh, okay,
Beautiful
okay,
Mind
yeah.
Records. So he's learning how to be the label. This is one of the first times in history that writers have been given points on a song, and he's doing that for his writers, which is beautiful in the industry. But the way
That's
that he's
amazing.
rolling out this album, um, he said why was like the craziest blow up that he's ever had in a song. Obviously, we know like All Time Low and how big that went, but it's said it's nothing compared to what why has gotten him,
Yeah, man.
and just him staying grounded and him. We talked about this earlier today, but like I hate that he's only doing one big show. And why is always, why do I not live in New York, bro? Like why can I be in
Oh
Queens right now?
man,
I
the
would go
one
to
I would be in Queens right now. I'll
I'm
be in
still
Queens
looking
right
at
there.
like prices and stuff. I'm waiting
Yeah,
for next Wednesday for it to release. But even next Wednesday, if you're on the forum and on the email list, you get early access 4 hours before it goes live.
yeah, man.
Like he just it's just the way that he's doing it, the way that
Yeah,
he's talking about that is so anti-culture and anti-industry that I think the people that grew up with him that are now dads themselves, but even us who aren't fathers, but know but have the right value system and understanding the understanding what true wealth is.
yeah,
It's
we know
like
what it
that's
is.
what I want in every artist track ever.
Yeah,
That's what I want to hear every single day. So
yeah,
that's what I'm going to listen to every single day because he's talking about the real stuff, about real wealth and real fatherhood and real masculinity and love for your family and vulnerability and you don't have to gaze like I'm a good father, I'm a good masculine, I'm not don't talk about my feelings. No, I'm gonna cry in this song because I love my
yeah.
boy so
It's
much.
real talk. That's actually real manhood is actually being open and just
Absolutely
vulnerable to know that it's
vulnerable.
okay to like talk about how you're feeling because
Yeah.
I think June is the leading month for like male
Yes.
suicide. And so a lot of times like these men are like, yo, I just can't talk about this, so I gotta leave
Bottled up. Yeah.
permanently. You know what I mean? That's
Because
that's that's the
they
dangerous
because they're
part.
viewed as weak. It's like if you reveal any emotion, you're viewed as not a man.
Yeah, like,
Or like
oh,
what
stop crying, stop doing this. Like
we
I'm just
look
like,
at
it's
what
just
like
where did that
real
mentality come from?
we look at like what real like especially as Christians biblical masculinity scriptural masculinity is.
God
Like
was
Jesus
Jesus was
wept.
crying in the Garden of Gethsemane. He's like, if there's anything you can do, like take this away from me.
He wept in the garden. He wept when Lazarus was dead. Like i- that
I like
showing that emotion,
I'm
bro.
sometimes I'm just like, yo, are we really like reading the Bible? It's like he's telling you, God is telling
Bro,
you know what, I don't even want to get into that. But I'm just like,
it's
are
so
we
good,
really
bro.
looking at like
It's so
I'm sorry,
good.
I don't want to
It's
preach
so
to y'all
good.
on a Friday night, but Micah, it's been an
Ain't nothing
absolute
wrong with that,
I'm
Wellington.
sorry. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man. So many good talks, so much good discussion.
Before we end, I want to what is your favorite album of his?
I'm sorry, Glory Sound Prep. I love Glory
It's
Sound
it's so
Prep.
good.
It's just
It's
I'm
so
so
good.
sorry because it's like I'm going to keep listening to this every day. Like you got my
I
word.
think it's gonna grow and grow and grow. I
It's
mean,
going to
but
grow on me. But I'm just saying
I think
I need time.
the
Yeah,
lyrical content for me is so stupidly incredible
it's
and
stupid deep.
relevant for a
It's just
time.
stupid
It's
deep.
stupid deep. But Adult Swim is forever my favorite song of his. Adult
Oh
Swim, bro. I could
man,
talk
the
about
beat
Adult Swim all day.
switches, the beat
Every single
switches.
line has a double and triple entendre to it. We
Hey,
could spend
hold
30
up, hold
minutes
up,
just
hold
going through the song, bro.
up. And they still carry us in packages, something like that. I was just like, oh, it was.
I'm thankful for Nike. Like we all end up chasing boxes, but we still we all chasing packages, but we still I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up. I gotta look it
Yeah, look it
up.
up, look it up, because that's just that hard. That bar right there, I was like, mm.
But it's like, and in the end, we chase packaging or something like that. Um, but every line on that track. I mean, I'll just play that over and over and over again. Like, oh, I've been a fanning myself. I'm such a fan of myself. Like levels to the
Oh,
core,
he
like a
said, so I
fan
don't
on
feel
the
guilty
shelf.
when Nike sends me some packages. We still up in boxes, even though we chase packaging. Okay, yeah, I see
Yeah,
that.
bro. Uh, if they don't feel your thoughts, start dreaming in braille. Like, bro,
Mm.
if they can't feel your thoughts, make them feel your thoughts. Start dreaming in braille. They'll feel the thoughts, bro. It's just
He said,
so
I'm on an
stupid.
island where opiates go to rich kids and then they pass away. That's called death over the privilege.
It's
Oh my gosh, this guy is no. I can't. I'm listening to Glory Sound Prayer after this podcast. I'm sorry. I gotta do it. I'm sorry. I gotta do it.
like it's Whoopi Goldberg the way that my
My
sisters
sister's
act up.
This guy is crazy. This guy is crazy. John Bellion, we love
Oh
you.
man,
John Bellion, we love you, man. You're
we gotta
amazing.
sometimes just dig into like the
We
lyrics
gotta
of
do
the
lyric
song.
breakdown. We gotta do, yeah,
I
definitely.
would
Yeah, we
totally
gotta
do a
definitely gotta do
John
lyric
Bellion
breakdown.
lyric breakdown, bro.
Yeah, man. I might even do like a over the song. I might do like a have you on for like an album reaction of Glory Sound Prep and then Father Figure, where we just do like
Bro,
a
that's my
album
dream.
reactions. Yeah,
I would break down both of those albums with you, bro.
For the Patreon for the to keep the fans fed. But man, Micah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on
Absolutely.
Basketball Talk. John Bellion, appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
Well, that wraps it up for tonight. I'm your host, Wellington Burns. This has been Full Scope. See you later.